Let's go.
Dr. Rosie Milligan, one of the most sought-after speakers on the circuit today. Her live internet talk show, Express Yourself, is the most provocative, thought-provoking, and talked-about radio show on the internet. There's no holds barred, and Dr. Milligan puts the B in bold. She brings it every Tuesday live at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dr. Rosie has been proclaimed the most provocative female writer of the century. Her books include Satisfying the Black Man and Black Woman Sexually Made Simple, Why Black Men Choose White Women, and the book Nigga Please. These books have raised eyebrows across the country. She has authored 21 books and published 350 titles for authors nationwide. Check Dr. Rosie out at drrosie.com for her books, articles, and archives of her internet talk show. Sit at the feet of wisdom. Dr. Milligan is indeed a timekeeper and scorekeeper. She is the clock, calendar, and almanac for Black America. You need to hear her.
Morning, top of the morning. We are coming from sunny California, you guys, and I tell you, it is sunny and it is hot out here, and we're going to have a hot show, just as hot as the weather outside. It's going to be hot inside and outside. You better join us. Wake up, folks. This is the Express Yourself Hour. I am your host, Dr. Rosie Milligan, coming to you live with nothing but straight talk, 'cause that's how we do it around here. My co-host is the fabulous, you guys know her, Dr. Andre Anthony. Good morning, Dr. Andre.
Good morning, Dr. Rosie. Good to see you.
You looking pretty sassy up there in that red, girl. You looking hot today. Come on now. You must knew what the show was going to be about.
Yes, it's the fuchsia.
All right.
Fuchsia.
That is absolutely incredible. So, folks, we have a great show today for you. So let me start off by saying you guys know how I am. For years, I have been on a path talking about this thing called sex and sexuality. I was doing it at a time when people thought that, that I should not be talking about it. But now they begin to embrace and wonder why they had not jumped on the bandwagon before, because they see the devastation that this little three-letter word, sex, has caused in their homes and in this country today. So we are going to talk about sex, the weapon of mass destruction. That's what I said, the weapon of mass destruction. And then I like to ask you a question. Is sex really all that? That's funny. I know you're going to laugh. Is sex really all of that? Today, we're going there. That's right. We're going there. When we think about our children, who teach them about sex? TikTok, Instagram, folks on the corner, their buddies, their kids. Folks, sex is the weapon of mass destruction. It's one subject that people don't want to talk about, but it can destroy marriages, and it has. Split families, end careers, divide churches, ruin reputation, bankrupt celebrities. Now, you guys know, you've heard of in relationship, but we still continue not to talk about the power that we have given over to sex. Is it worth it? Has we given it too much power? You guys know when I wrote the book, Satisfying the Black Man, Sexually Made Simple, and Satisfying the Black Woman, Sexually Made Simple, people at first got to misunderstand. I was not trying to teach people how to have better sex. I was trying to teach them about understanding that sex has become so powerful and it's such a force in our culture. So whether we give it enough attention or whether we give it too much attention. So bottom line, what I'm saying today, let's talk about sex, the culture. It's a mass destruction, and it is wreaking havoc in our community, and it's time that we face it. We can talk about everything else. We can talk about politics. We talk about religion. But why is it that we're not talking about a subject that is wrecking homes, causing jobs? Sex is one thing that people will contemplate at the risk of their family, their job, everything for this thing called sex. Have we given it too much power? Does it have too much control? Is it sex that we're looking for, or is it to feel our loneliness? We're going to talk about this thing, and I want people to understand so we can have a healthy nation. We don't. We have all this molestation. We have all of this is driven by this thing that we refuse to talk about sex. And Dr. Andre knows that very well. She's an expert at teaching parents right now how to protect their children from sexual molestation because it impacts their lives forever. All about this 3-letter word that you are afraid to tell your child that a person is not supposed to touch you here. A person is not supposed to do. Why are we afraid to say something so simple, something so precious, something that can save your child's life, emotional stress for years? And we don't want to talk about it. Folks, all I'm saying is time. I'm bold enough to talk about. At 80, damn it, I think I ought to be able to talk about whatever I want to talk about. Yeah, that's what I said. At 80, I should be able to talk about whatever I want to talk about because I'm tired of what I'm seeing. I'm tired of the sexual hold that people have on their life. Yes, it is a weapon of mass destruction. Except for money, I can think of no other force that calls otherwise intelligent people, Dr. Andre. I ain't talking about just little folks on the street. I ain't talking about Bub and Jumbo. I'm talking about that call intelligent people, okay, to risk their marriage, their family, their career, my God, their reputation, their health, their freedom, and even their lives for this thing called sex. Wow. What's up with that, you all? Dr. Andre, what's going on? Have we given it too much power? Is it sex that we want, or is we substituting sex for some other need that we have? Let's talk about it.
Well, first I want to give a disclaimer and say that I'm not an expert on sex, but I've lived a long time, and I do know that it could be something that's beautiful, and it could be something that's destruction, like you said. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, I believe that people get emotionally tied up. We have heard multiple stories about people, having relationships with people on their jobs. The whole Me Too movement, mm-hmm. That came out, and people are, having sex with their coworkers, and a lot of companies have it in their policies that, there shouldn't be any relationships going on the job. People know that, but they'll take a risk, like you said, because of that attraction. And unfortunately, will risk everything for a moment of pleasure. And people just get lost in the shuffle. I mean, I could tell countless of stories, about situations where people allowed, that moment to ruin their lives. You mentioned about, children being sexually abused. Back in the 80s, when HIV and AIDS was just out of control. Mm-hmm. People, of course, contracting it, through sex, being irresponsible with the way they engage with sex. So, you're on to something. It really is, mass destruction. When I saw the title, I was like, oh my goodness, here we go.
It's actually true. You say how they risk their life for a moment of pleasure. But the sad part about it, on many of these occasions, they're not even pleasurable. They thought it was going to be pleasurable, risking their life on something they didn't even enjoy and regretted after being involved, going after something they think that's going to be wonderful. People can't abuse it, you know. You have people who practice by thinking of how good they can be, how they can make people crave them, and all this kind of stuff. That's a negative way to use. We've just taken sex out of control, you know. When you think about it from a spiritual standpoint, people look at it as a way to, pre, you know, to have children,
Yeah.
to supply the world, to be fruitful, like the Bible says. But we don't went past fruitful, just doing it to control. Some people use it to control people. Manipulation. Sex was not designed for that. We've just taken it too far and gone too far for too long. So it's time for us to really take it back. So, folks, we're going to really talk about that because it's important. I want churches to start talking about it. I remember I was on a show, and this minister called, and he said, every time I hear you, you're talking about sex or you're talking about money. Because, I'm an empowerment specialist. I believe in economic empowerment. Well, I said to him, sir, every time I hear of a church breaking up, somebody went to bed with somebody or somebody ran away with the money. So I think it's time that you welcome my ministry. So I think it's important. If you go, I won't even give you the website because I don't even want you all to see how many ministers and people who in the ministry pictures on the website as pedophiles. I won't even give you a website because I don't want you to even know. And if you have all this control and all this power and you fall into this diver ditch, folks, it has to be something, Dr. Andre, about sex that we have not explored, that we have not tried to conquer it. So then my question is, are you really looking, is it sex you're looking for? Are you lonely? Are you trying to fill a lonely spot with sex? You're lonely so you can get the person to come over if you're going to have sex, so you don't have to be lonely. Now you have company. Is it really sex you're looking for? Or is it to feel self-esteem? Is it because you want to feel wanted? I'm asking some questions. I want you all to think as I'm asking these questions. I want you to open these mics up, and I want you to call in, and I want you to talk to me. Are you really addicted to sex? Or are you addicted to being wanted? You feel wanted. Are you addicted to wanting to feel attractive? Because you've been attracted to someone. They want to have sex with you. Or is it a feeling? Do you need a feeling of importance? Do you want to escape loneliness? Are you escaping stress? Because a lot of people deal with sex from a stress standpoint, particularly men's, Dr. Andre. When they have had a hard day at work, their boss been riding it back, they on the verge, don't know if they're going to be the first laid off or the first fired. When they have stress, then sex becomes that tranquilizer for them. So when they come home, they may want to have sex. And I said sex. I didn't say want to make love. There's a difference in having sex and making love. I hope y'all know that. It's different. So they just want to have sex. They ain't about making love. They stressed out. They need it's a tranquilizer. So the only thing I say to women that's okay for a person who say, well, if we call it just a quickie. They're trying to satisfy stress. But the problem is, you need to let the woman know what your agenda is. Don't have her preparing for a trip if you just want to go around the corner. Hello, somebody. Don't have her preparing for a long trip if you just want to go around the corner. So just let her know, baby, that's all I need, okay? So it's okay. So what are we really trying to feel? Are you bored? Why is sex dominating your life? It'll cause a citywide dilemma, nationwide dilemma, all about that one thing, sex. Two adults who have consented to have sex with each other can cause a nationwide catastrophe. What's up with that? Call me, open your mic, talk to me. I know some of you on the mic, on the phone, even now, you're afraid to express how you feel because you wonder who's listening. But let's talk about it.
Well,
Has sex become that medicine for wounds it was never designed to heal? Think about that, Dr. Andre. Has sex become that medicine for wounds that it can never heal? Talk to me, somebody. Open that mic. Let me hear from you.
well, I know you hit two like key points. So number one, you didn't say it, but implied it. Communication is very important. When you said, the man should let her know we just going around the corner. We're not going on a trip.
Right.
We pack everything because we're not going to be gone that long.
Right.
Very important, and unfortunately, there's a lack in communication, and or there's a misconception, or misconception, not the word I'm looking for, but there's deceit in the communication.
Mm-hmm.
And it could go either way, the man or the woman, making, having sex something more than what it really is.
Mm-hmm.
I remember a long time ago, had dated someone and I was ending the relationship. And my parting words to him was, and when you move forward, just be honest with women and say, I don't want to be in a relationship. I'm just going to have a good time.
Yeah.
Commitment. I said, and you will be surprised how many women will take that ride. How many women will say, hey, that's the only thing I'm looking for too.
Right.
But I said, so that's my parting words to you. Just be honest. And then something else that you said I think is important, and you implied, but I think as adults, and we have small children, I think at some point we need to start having conversations about sex with our young children. It just depends on the situation. But, I started talking to my daughter like in middle school. Mm-hmm. And she was nowhere near even thinking about having sex, but just start having little conversations with her. Then when she got to high school, knowing that, it's a surge in young people, wanting to have sex and being drawn into that, and start having more and more conversations with her, about protection, what that means. And when she was getting ready to go to college, we had a conversation before she left, because I'm not going to be there monitoring, nothing like that. So just had some honest conversations with her and share stories. And I think it's important that we do talk to children and young adults about it and be open.
Absolutely. And you should just be honest and let them know, sure, these emotions, these feelings would be aroused when you're in a certain situation. That's why what I did, I would take my daughter, would take them bowling, would take them to movies, take them to plays. I would take them to places. So when they start dating, and if the boys say, I want to take you out, what about a play? What about going bowling? What about skating? Versus a house party, versus something you're going to always be in close contact, because those feelings will arouse, and you need to let them know. And if they ask you, say, yeah, you will have those feelings, but you don't have to act on every emotion. You may feel like slapping somebody, but do you do it? No. Just as you control that, You have to be able to control it because you have to look at the consequence. And the real question becomes, as I said to my daughter when she was in college, when she asked me about that, I explained to her, I said, if you have sex with someone, and if they go and tell the other kids on campus, or if they don't follow up or try to have a relationship with you, they go on about their business. How would you feel? When she thought about that, she said that makes a big difference. Because do you realize how many people don't realize that all that person wants, they want to have sex with the young lady so they can tell the other boy, I got her first. Hey, 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 look who. You need to have these conversations with your kids. It doesn't mean they love you. It doesn't mean that they want you to be their girlfriend. So some people think if somebody has sex with them, you must like them. Oh my God. Folks, don't nobody have to like you to have sex with you. So don't you get it twisted. Let me open the phone, open the mic. Come on, you guys, jump right in. Ain't nobody looking at you. They don't care what you're saying. So talk to me. I know you have to have some comment about an explosive conversation such as this. Okay, I'm waiting for you. Come on, y'all scared? Okay. Cassandra, you sitting up there laughing. Come on, talk to me. What you got to say? Come on, don't be scared.
Yeah, unmute yourself.
Unmute yourself. Unmute. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, talk to me. You're still muted. See how busy the devil is. He don't
Yeah.
want her to say
I
what she
don't
got.
want me to do. He been picking with me since yesterday. Okay. You better get things behind me. All right. But I wanted to make a comment towards you guys with the sex topic. Sex is it's a natural thing. It's a normal thing. My outlook about it has been, kind of biased in a way. As a child, as you may know from my book, that I was sexually assaulted when I was 5 years old.
Okay.
And I had became a sex addict. I don't know. Well, now I know why that happened. I was, like I said, I was involved in sexual hyperactivity with one partner, very addicted to sex. And it was relieving stress. You utilized it for stress relieving and to help me deal with some of the trauma that I had sustained as a child. And I made a conscious decision, July the 5th, 2018. I said, I want to try giving up sex. I want to try giving it up. And I did. I liked it. It was hard initially, but I've been it's over 8 years celibate. And like I said, when I look back at it, I was introduced. I like it because that's what I thought. I thought it was I utilized it for stress and to help me cope with things, but it wasn't helping me cope with things. It was making me more addicted to it.
That's why I say, Cassandra, people have to ask themselves this question. Am I addicted to sex, or am I addicted to the fact that I have a need to be wanted?
Yes.
I have a need to be loved, because some people feel they mix sex up with intimacy when they really, all they want is a hug, but when that man come over, he think you want sex. So you wind up getting something that you really didn't want, and then when he leave, you're mad because he didn't hug you, he didn't caress you, he didn't. What you really was starving for was intimacy, and he thought you needed sex. Come on, son. Come on, let's be real, okay?
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yes.
To feel important, feel
Mm-hmm.
the loneliness,
Mm-hmm.
stress. And you said it so eloquently.
Mm-hmm.
That's why a lot of people involved. But then what happened? You're risking your life. Anytime people during the epidemic of AIDS and people were still just as carefree as they could be, what does that tell you about a society, its culture, as related to sex? Go ahead, Cassandra.
Yes. And the gentleman that I had dated for some time, um, he was equally addicted to sex.
Because he had needs too.
He had needs too, exactly. And I tell you, without it, I I feel so much better. I didn't need all that. It wasn't. That's why I didn't. I wasn't. I didn't need that. I didn't. I thought that I needed it,
Yeah,
right? Which it
yeah,
is a need. I didn't need that to function. I didn't need that to cope with stress. I didn't need that.
right.
So I was battling between. Actually, I went to therapy, battling between the trauma. I was
Hmm.
dealing with the trauma.
Hmm.
The childhood trauma, the sexual assaults, and then it was like more so with me. It was more psychological, I would say.
You
It's, uh,
know what?
hmm
That's why you guys, when you hear people, um, more mature women, and when younger people, they're trying to fill a lot of needs because they don't have anything going on in their lives many times, then they become occupied with sex. And
hmm
they are asked mature women, women in their 40s and 50s, you don't have sex. How do you feel? You know why it's not important to them?
hmm
Because they have a life. Somebody said, get a life.
Get a life. It's so funny because a lot of gentlemen, try to talk to me, and I tell them, hey, none of that. I've been
Because
celibate, but
you
most
got a
of
life.
I have a life, and then but most of them think that you're gay, you're
Hmm.
lesbian. They think
Hmm.
that most of them think I'm lesbian.
Hmm.
No, I'm not.
You got a life.
I
Just tell
have
them,
a
I
life.
have
I,
a
I
life.
know how to deal with myself and my cravings and dealing with still dealing with my problems from
Hmm.
childhood trauma and teenage trauma, etc. Yes.
Well,
Uh,
one thing I can compliment you for the fact you said one word that was so critical. I got help.
yes.
I got help. That's what many people refuse to do is seek counseling, is seek help when they're dealing with these issues because they are real. And if we talk about it more people would feel comfortable seeking help because they think they're the only somebody who are going through these type situations. It is so important. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Anyone else, just jump right in because we're going there today. Oh yeah, we're going there. Make no mistake about it. We are going there because it is time to go there. I am tired of seeing young men ruin their life for biological release because they have not been taught about sexual experience. Because you're in college, you're 18, now you have impregnated someone. Now you got child support. You're doing fine. You don't have to pay now because you're in school. Hallelujah, hallelujah. 20, now you're 28. You got married. You finally found the love of your life. Now you're hit with that $20,000 child support because the county been taking care of your child. The seed that you implanted when you were 18 and maybe have forgotten all about it and moved forward with your life. These are the stories, Dr. Andre, has not been shared with young men. It's more to it than what you think. It can put a hold on your future life. So it's important to talk about it. To talk about what do you do when you feel these urges? What do you do to avoid it? If you're going to be, I remember back in the day, I just found out they have a drive-in movie here. I didn't think they had drive-in movies any place in the world. Did you know they have one here?
Hmm.
Now,
Yeah.
y'all know that was dangerous as hell, okay? You sitting in the car at nighttime in a movie, everything is dark, nobody can see. You know, sometimes people would peep over in the other car to see what they were doing. But that was that was dangerous ground. That's why it's important to teach your kids the important. Tell them what will arouse them to want to do certain things, and then maybe they want to stay away from it. Maybe they want to go bowling. Maybe they want to go skating. Maybe the next date they want to go to a play. So you need to introduce them to something that always not going to lead to close. And what you think about that, Dr. Andre?
I absolutely, totally agree. Teaching young people how to be responsible.
Hmm.
And I believe that I won't say that, everybody's, all households are not doing that, because there are many who do take the time out to educate their children. But it's so important. And as you were talking and talking about the young people, it made me think about, the young men who are, athletes, star athletes, and or they're, they look good, they dress good, so they get a lot of attention,
Hmm.
from the young girls, and so they can pick and choose who they want to be with, and unfortunately, a lot of them are reckless in that situation, and then they're sleeping with multiple girls, and the girls think that they're the only one,
Hmm.
and they're not. And then that causes a lot of young girls, just recently, a situation that I became aware of, and actually, did some coaching and counseling with a young lady who was devastated, when she found out that she was not
The one.
one, that it was multiple. But, he wasn't honest with her. And of course, telling all of them the same thing, making them think that they're only one. And, these young ladies give of themselves because they think, this is what I'm supposed to do
Right.
in a relationship. Like sex is what you're supposed to do. And then it
Hi,
ends
mommy.
messing them up. It messes
Right.
them up
Good
emotionally,
morning.
mentally, and it's important that they have someone to talk to and get an understanding.
Right. That is so important to teach young people that sex is not love. That's the key thing, you know. And a person would tell you anything that you want to hear when they're trying to get what they're trying to get. So then you have to teach them also, Dr. Andrea, so they don't be so heartbroken when they let them know that these type of things happen. You know, a person may you're dating a person, you may have given yourself into them. That doesn't mean that they owe you their life. Now, people tell me that I'm wrong for saying that. They don't owe you your life because you spread your legs. Yeah, I'm going to say it. I'm 80 years old and I'm going there because they don't understand that. Well, I did this and I did that. Oh, well, now that's hard talk. But when you share that, it makes them think twice. It doesn't make them obligated or committed to you. So
Hmm.
it's important because it's nothing worse, you all, than a scorned woman. I'm going to say that again. It's nothing worse than a scorned woman. Because that's the woman who ends up marrying your son, your nephew, your cousin. And that person thinking something wrong with them when it all has to do with the history that that person is living because of what has happened to her in the past. So, folks, bottom line, I still say sex is a weapon of mass destruction. And it's not just young people. I'm surprised that these old women acting foolish out here about sex and stuff and thinking somebody loved them. Wow. You know, people can really uh, They can peep. I think they can peep loneliness. What you think? I
Oh yeah.
think they can read. They can. It's a scent. It's like thirsty. Let's call it thirsty women. What about that? What about thirsty women? Hit me up if you guys know some thirsty women. It, hey, babe. Oh, you look good. Where you been all my life? Thirsty women, they go for that. Wow.
Mhm.
Y'all got to know the jargon. You got to know so you can tell your kids. But when you have a need to be wanted, when you have a need to feel good, when you have a need to feel attracted, that feels good. But it should not lead to sex because sometimes that's what men wanted to do. Oh, you must have been a beautiful baby because look at you now. And that sounds good when you thirst, okay? But when you're not thirsty, you know bullshit when you hear it, okay? Oh, my goodness. Brenda, come on, talk to me. I don't know. Joy ain't said nothing. What's wrong with y'all? Y'all scared to talk about sex?
Good
Wow.
morning, good morning, Dr. Rosie and everyone.
Good
No,
morning.
I'm not afraid to talk about the subject at all. My experience with it has been very transactional. Men play tit for tat, and they do that from very young little boys. You give me something, I'll give you something. Sex has become currency, a way
Wow.
to buy what you want. You want a husband, give him sex, and perhaps that'll happen. If you want a boyfriend, give him sex, and perhaps that'll happen. It's very transactional.
Wow.
And I'm at a point right now where I found peace without it. I find that in engaging with having to see what this man really wants as opposed to what he's portraying. And I just find that it's better to have peace in your life. And if God puts the right man in your life, he's not going to be transactional. He's going to be healthy. And I understand that I'm not equipped to pick a man because I've picked a lot of bad ones. And so I'm going to sit down on my behind and let God pick me a man.
You gonna rest for a while, huh?
I'm going to rest because I'm finding peace in this rest. I don't have any confrontations. I go and come when I want to. I'm blessed with a healthy body and a sound mind. And in those interactions, I didn't contract something or I didn't become bitter. So I'm good. I'm good. I'm just gonna do my life, live my life. And if some nice man should come into my life, it's okay. But if he doesn't, I'm still cool.
Wow. What you're saying, Brenda, is there's life outside of sex. You guys write that down. That sum it up. That's what she really summed up. There is life outside of sex. And some people think that they don't feel feminine if they're not having sex. If someone haven't approached me to have sex with me, I must not be cute. That's why you see people now spending $20,000 to have a bigger behind. Folks, sex is a weapon of mass destruction. How does that add to a woman by increasing her behind? Is it for her? Remember I said some people who sex, they're looking for attraction. They want to be attracted to someone. They want to feel wanted. They want to get rid of the loneliness. They need purpose. Is sex replacing something in our lives? What could it be replacing? Could it be replacing real love? Sex is not real love. Could it be replacing friendship? You really wanted friendship. But since he wants sex, you'll go along with that because you see it as friendship. At least I have a friend. This is somebody I can talk to. We can go places. I can tell my trouble to. But you get in sex with it, and without the sex, you wouldn't have that person to be there as your companion. I want y'all to think about that. Is it purpose? You don't really have purpose. That's why I mentioned, Cassata, when you get a life, that craving, that I gotta have it, will disappear because you have a life. I'm not saying that you will not want to or not. Wanting and doing something, two different things. But you will become in control of your destiny. It is self-worth. Because some women don't feel good about themselves unless a man validates them. Wow. So if he has sex with you, he had validated you. That's how some people feel. Because, they all want to have sex when they just follow me, my behind. I done went and I done got, you should see how they chasing me. I mean, that's sex right there. They getting an orgasm just from the thought of that. Okay? So we got to really think about that. Emotional intimacy is missing. Spiritual fulfillment, that's what you really need. It's that other things you need, but you're trying to fulfill it through sex. Sex, that weapon of mass destruction. Wow. Come on, you guys out there, you guys online, you guys on thing, talk to us. You have to have some feeling about this. Do you think sex is a weapon of mass destruction? What are your thoughts? What do you feel? Talk to us. Is sex overrated? Is society too obsessed with sex? Has social media, let me ask you this, has social media played a major role and made the problem worse? Answer that question, somebody.
Dr. Rosie. Oh, go ahead.
Yes. Go ahead, hon.
I was just thinking that I believe that's true, what you said about the social media and then the provocative dressing that Hollywood puts out. So you see people. I was in Inglewood Sunday. There was some kind of festival going on, and all the girls had all their butt cheeks out. They had different kind of styles of stuff, like tutus or that. They were creative in there, but all of them had their behinds out. There was a few that didn't, but they were walking to wherever they were going. But I've seen it before. But I said it's like they don't understand that their body doesn't need to be seen like that. But because of culture, and I think that's influenced a lot of the young people, and they haven't been taught. And I remember I've been celibate for a long time, since I was 22. I'm 66, but I made a choice that I'm not going to get my mind, what do you call that? Soul ties, connected with people. I don't need that. But I know that if you get connected with someone, it messes you up, if you're not married. And I just made that vow to myself that I'll just wait, and not do that.
And you're okay, right? You're
okay.
happy. You
I'm
have
okay.
purpose.
And I have peace in my heart. And so, yeah, but I just know that I had a godmother, my mother's cousin, that taught me about living holy. And so that kind of, and she would know, I knew you was over there. I'm like, what? Yes, you know that. So, but yeah, I just want to keep my mind right, So I just say, Lord, if it's not, I don't want to do anything less, and put myself in positions, because I know our flesh can get moved, and the flesh can take over. So you have to put yourself in an environment where you don't have to yield to anything that's going to mess you up. So that's where I'm at. I'm just kind of like trying to guard my life, but I don't want to be scared of relationships too. I've been in the other vein, not want to get involved because of fear. But then a lot of times there's someone asked me out recently, and I knew it wasn't about me. It was about lust, And so I knew I don't need to go out with you,
Well, you know what? I think you're making a very powerful statement that women, and men really need to think about. I mean, there are women that when that right guy, that God sent man come their way, they can't appreciate because they have allowed themselves, Dr. Andre, to be so damaged from the wrong men that they've had in their lives. So when that good man come along, they looking at him out of the eyes of Billy. Billy cheated on me. Ronnie did this. So you're looking at this God sent man now. You're looking at him out of eye of all these other people, what they have done to you. Now here you have a man who want to be faithful to you, but you can't see him being faithful because you've been with so many other men and they have all dogged you out. They have all been unfaithful. So you can't see this God sent man being that because you have created for yourself the image of what a man is. Because you hear women say, well, all men cheat. You ever heard women say that? I've heard all men cheat. That's the perception that they have. So if you think they all cheat, then how are you going to be handling this man that's in your life if you think all men cheat? Look at some of these conversations. Look at the accusation that's going to be confronted in your relationship with this man because you have been with 5 men who all cheated on you, men who you should not have probably been with in the first place. Let's talk about how does it feel for women when they have given themselves, have given their body, have given their all to men, to man, and they just ghost you. Woo! Woo hoo! Let's talk about that. They just ghost you. You thought you had it going on. You've been sleeping with him for months. You even paid for the dinner a few times. You know, he got behind in his car note and told you about it. You offered to lend him the money. Come on, women, let's talk. Women doing a whole lot of supporting of men. And when they ghost you, wow. Anybody ever been ghosted? I know you're not going to come on here and say it. Anybody ever know what it feel like? I feel like, Dr. Andre, whenever a relationship ends, you owe it to each other to come together and discuss why you're in that relationship. Do you realize what it must feel like for when a woman has been with a man or a man with a woman and their relationship just end without coming to an end? Do you understand when I say end without coming to an end? Do you realize what burden you put on that other person? Because maybe whatever went wrong, if you guys could talk about it, maybe that person will be conscious of it in their next relationship. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
But to be ghosted? Wow.
Well,
Wow.
I can't speak on that part, being ghosted and somebody just disappeared, but
I'm sure you have heard of it, right?
oh, definitely. Yeah. I have friends who experienced that. But I think the most important thing is to be like self-aware, to be knowledgeable about relationships and have an understanding about human nature and just be alert in your environments. A lot of times, I've been guilty of it where there's red flags.
Okay.
Flags are there, waving, like, but you ignore them.
Right.
Because you've become, intimately involved with someone and you don't want it to end. And so you'll do everything to ignore those flags when they're letting you know something is wrong. And then when something does go wrong or go awry, you shouldn't be surprised because you actually saw it happening. But I definitely, when you say that it would be, great for couples to come together at the end of a relationship.
Yeah.
And say, hey,
this went wrong.
This didn't work. It didn't work for me because of whatever. And then, it didn't work for them because of whatever. That's something that I've always believed in. I don't know where I got it from, but I always thought that, it would be a service to someone when they move on, to let them know, these are the things that I've seen. This is how I felt in a relationship. And then when people move on, you have a pretty good idea why that relationship didn't work. And I'm a person, a lot of people may not, believe in this, but I believe that when a relationship does not work, it's not one-sided. Two people are involved, and there's some responsibility, I think, on both sides.
Right.
And I would just encourage, women and men, to really understand that, you can't point the finger and say this relationship didn't work because of, what they did, and they did this and they did that. A lot of times people respond and react to things that you've done, and that's why they behave the way they behave. And
Yeah.
so I think it's two-sided, but that's just my own little input.
Well, it's good because otherwise, the longer you in a relationship with the person, you're getting to know that person. So now you're finding out some things about that person does not coincide with your belief or your core values. So that could be the reason that relationship is ended. So it's nothing wrong with that. So it's no point in going on. I don't care if you've been together, been dating for a year, but when it comes to that core value, if it's not congruent, why go on? Because you're not going to be happy. So it doesn't mean that it's something wrong with that person or something wrong with you. You'll come to understanding for a long life experience with this person. This I cannot deal with. I can go to the movie with you. We can be friends, but I can't see this being a long term relationship. And I see that that's what you are leaning toward making it to be. And I know I can't go on. It's nothing but fairness to end that in, as my dad is saying, decent and order. That's it, indecent. And I think every person deserves to know why a relationship ends. I think that's a hurting thing for many women and men because they didn't know what happened.
Yeah, even if it's just as simple as I don't want to be in this relationship anymore. I found somebody else.
Right.
Um, I I don't like you. I don't like you like I used to, and
Right.
I just want to go try something else. I mean, it could be that simple. It doesn't have to be anything, awful about the person. I'm just not interested anymore.
Right.
This is not working for me.
I have a life now. I didn't have a life when I first met you. Got a life. Somebody said got a life. Y'all don't understand what having a life means. When
Yeah,
you get a life, your whole world changes. And that's what happens, when women reach maturity, they get a life. And they realize that it's wonderful to have somebody in their life, but they also realize that I'm wonderful with the person or without a person. So you guys repeat this. A man is a luxury and not a necessity. Y'all scared to say it. Look at you. Y'all so beautiful.
A man is a luxury and not a necessity.
Absolutely, you guys. And the same for the man. A woman is a luxury and not a necessity. When we can put that in our brain, then we can move forward with our purpose in life, whether we are connected to a man or not. That's a powerful thing. I see Denario, you had a comment. Go ahead. It's DONNAUSCR. Did you have a comment? Okay. Then the question is, I need you guys to ask me the answer. Does pornography play a role? We talked about what social media does. It has a lot to do with it. Social media is emotional cheating worse than physical cheating. That's a big one. Does withholding sex destroy more marriages than infidelity? Brenda, go ahead.
Actually, Dr. Rosie, I wasn't raising my hand for that particular one, but was for the one before that when we
Okay.
were on the subject matter of ghosting. Um, I wanted to have the opinion of the panel here to see if what my actions were of ghosting, because I didn't consider it that, but I didn't explain why. But what I did was I had been in a relationship for about 12 years.
Hello, hello.
I had been in a relationship for about 12 years with an African. And during the 12 years, he had went back and forth to Africa, but he was based here in the United States and we worked together. And when I found out that we weren't moving close together, we never had any argument or anything like that. We were always very cordial and respectful for each other. And he helped me in a lot of ways. But when I saw that we weren't moving closer and I was constantly getting older, and it just dawned on me one day that I just wanted to just let him know that, okay, I wish you well and I have nothing but good things to say or to think about you. And that's how I left it. I never talked to him again, and he was a very prideful man, so he never I had kind of told him that I'm not confrontational. So if something wasn't working out for me, I'm not the one that's going to key your car or cuss you out or anything like that. I am simply going to walk away. So he knew that in the very beginning that that's the type of person I am. So when I sent him the message 12 years later that I wish you well and I didn't have any further communication, do you consider that ghosting?
No, because you had conversation. That's not ghosting because you had conversation leading up to that. So that's not ghosting. Ghosting when say you've been going out with someone, you've been dating, you've been calling each other, and all of a sudden you call them, they don't answer, and they don't call you. The relationship end abruptly, and you don't know what happened. You don't know whether they're dead or alive. Did you do something to drive them away? That's what ghosting is. That's how I see ghosting. What about you, Dr. Andre?
I totally agree with that. I don't think that what she did is
No.
considered because there was communication,
Mm-hmm.
relationship, and throughout, and she just felt like it wasn't going in the direction that she wanted to. So you communicated that, in some form. So no, that wasn't ghosting. But I was sitting here and I just kind of because I said earlier like, oh no, I don't have no experience in that. Um, but I think that I kind of did ghost, but just like but I think it was Brenda. I've been communicating, throughout. I think I might have broken up with this person about 100 times. It would just keep, talking me back. And then I just decided, you know what? The only way I'm going to just like end this, I'm just not going to take his phone calls anymore. If I don't talk to him, I won't have to hear his voice.
You want to go back, huh? If you don't talk to them, you can't go back, huh?
I stopped. I didn't answer the phone. I didn't return messages or anything. But he had an idea on why I actually did that, and we did talk. Maybe like a year later, we talked, and it was no hard feelings. We laughed about it, and he knew exactly why. I was like, I had to get away from you. You were not good for me, and
Wow.
we're
Well,
still communicating and we're friends today. Like it was no hard feelings.
I'm going to add on to that, okay? She
Okay.
said, you were not good for me. Okay, y'all. Here you go. He might have been good sexually. A person can be good sexually, but not good for you. Now, you every now and then, y'all need to write some of this stuff down I'm saying.
You're
Okay?
absolutely
They can be good sexually, but are you good for me? Did y'all understand it? Did everybody get that? There's a difference. So you have to decide what weighs the most in your life, sex or being good for me? Do y'all get in that picture?
Yep.
You get it, Cassandra?
Yes.
Cassandra, that's right.
Yes.
They
Yes.
may good sexually, but not good for you. You need to be so clear in relationship. I can't believe it's almost 11 o'clock. Think about if you're a woman that want to get married and you're dating a man and he says to you, I will never get married. Would you continue to date that guy? Answer that question for me.
No. If my intentions is getting married, no.
Uh-huh. But you know
But
what
I
the
think
average
I would find that out early on.
well
And people lie, of course they lie,
uh,
they lie, but I will find it out early on.
well once a person says that, they have that reason. And why would you continue a relationship with a man who said, I will never, that's a powerful word, I would never get married. And you know, why should you invest your emotion into a man who have told you that he would never get married unless you feel the same way? Folks, I can't believe we're running out of time. It's 11 o'clock. But I want to appreciate everybody that was on this call. I want you all to remember that sex is a weapon of mass destruction. So when you decide to open yourself up, to give of yourself to a person, make sure it's the right person. But the key thing I want you to remember is my dad always say, what's good to you is not always good for you. Have you guys heard that before? What's good to you is not always good for you. So stay on purpose. Know why you were created. Know what you're supposed to be doing. And don't sidestep it for anything. If you want to be happy, live your purpose, live your dreams. Thank you all for joining us. Cassandra, were you trying to say something?
I just want to mention really, really quick that I dated this guy about 20 years ago, and he ghosted me. And that was the most painful thing that I ever experienced in my life. I went to his place because he wasn't answering the phone. I went to his place in Downey, and he had moved out. And then I went to the manager's office, and it was like, oh, he left. He moved to South Carolina. And I was like, oh, my God. And believe it or not, about 3 years ago, I got an inbox from him on Facebook. And when I look back, because I looked at his profile and all that stuff, he had got married. He's from Nigeria. He had got married. And that's why he had left. But I never brought none of that stuff up. I dealt with my, with the
Yes.
loss, and I moved on with my life. But it was the most devastating thing ever because we was together about 4 years.
Mm-hmm. And I bet that's one experience. That's one experience that you will never forget in your life.
Never.
Ghosting is very detrimental to a person. So I talked about that to say to people, when you harm one person, you don't just harm one. You harm her children. You harm her grandchildren. Because that pains run deep because it's perpetuated. So just be careful how you do people, not just that person. You guys, the clock on the wall, so that's all. My co-host, Dr. Anthony, thank you so much as always. I mean, you're just a jewel. Cassandra, she's been hanging with me. Brenda, you guys, all of you guys. Joy, have a great day as you go on your way. And remember, you guys, sex is a weapon of mass destruction. Don't play with it.
Amen. Thank
Have a
you.
wonderful day, everybody. Thank you.
All
Thank
righty.
you.
Have a great one.